And so I felt like I was one of the first people that ever like really gained that sexual desire, but I've always had to suppress it from the very beginning. I can't live out my truth. That has now just kind of manifested into like where I am now. Oh my God, we're in therapy. Where it's almost like I trained my body and my mind to like not feel anything instead of being the whore that I've always wanted to be. Hey guys, it's me, Stefanie Maegan, your host of Broke Therapy. And on this week's episode, I am joined by the lovely Nadege from Pleasure Science. If you're not familiar with who Nadege is, she is a certified sex scholar who studied at UC Berkeley. And on this episode, we read a listener email that talks about her libido. And you guys know that I openly talked about mine and my struggles. So I felt like it only made sense to have an educated person here to give us advice. So Nadege not only offered support as like a friend, but she also dropped some serious fucking knowledge on sexuality, pleasure, and healing. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. And if you love Broke Therapy, please give us a 5-star review, follow me on Instagram at Broke Therapy, and most importantly, share the pod with your friends, lovers, or whoever needs to hear this. And let's get into it. Broke Girl Therapy. But yeah. But wait, how the fuck are you? Can we talk now? Can
we can do
okay,
it.
Can we do
Yay.
this? Can we, like, actually
I'm so
catch up?
excited. I know.
It's always so hard to like do this and then see you and like see someone that I haven't seen in so long. I'm like, I want to catch up. But then we're like,
I know.
save it for the pod.
No, we both walked in and we were like, so
hi. How's life?
Yep.
Yeah. So how's life?
It's good. I'm really good. Yeah. Which
know.
is really nice to say. Because I feel like we don't always, something I'm really working on right now is like things are going great. I'm super happy. And I can say that without someone getting jealous or trying to put me down.
Oh,
like,
what do you mean?
I just went through a huge like cleansing of relationships.
Okay.
And last year was just a lot of endings, a lot of loss. But then on the back end of it, and I wish everyone well, like nothing but love.
Yeah.
But on the back end of it, I've never felt freer. Because a lot of the people, and it's interesting because it was from 3 major areas of my life. So it was like a big cleansing, but it wasn't like, oh, I lost like one friendship. I lost like 3 major friendships across 3 different friend groups. Like one friend was from the Jewish community. One friend was from like my like queer sister that I kind of like grew up with. And then another friend was my like closest best friend at the time. And we all just, I love Mel Robbins said this on a podcast. It was like a clip. Like, let me be, I didn't listen to the podcast. Yeah. It was like some regurgitated clip
You're
online.
Like, it just came up on my algorithm. Yeah.
But she said like endings aren't personal. It's alignment or misalignment.
That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And
right?
I love that.
Yeah. And so that was how, obviously things hurt. But another thing I love, and I do this with my clients where I'm like, any type of negative emotion you don't want shows you exactly what you need to heal and where you need to heal. And so last year was so intense, but then all I kept reminding myself is like, okay, well, coach yourself, like serve yourself the way you serve others. This is showing me everywhere that I need to heal, everything I haven't been looking at or maybe didn't need to look at that time to grow. And all of these relationships no longer being aligned, super painful, but super beautiful on the back end. Yeah. And then this year has been like a year of just expansive growth. Aww. And in every area, like sexually, romantically, financially, career, like every area of life is like moving forward. And so something I'm so present with is like, wow, anytime before when I would, like, it's hard when you're surrounded by all the people you've known since childhood and then to say, hey, I'm growing or I'm changing or I'm succeeding, and then be met, even the people who want to love you and say that's so, and even the people to your face who are like, that's amazing. Inside they might be resentful or jealous because they're not achieving that thing at that time. Right.
Yeah, that's real. That's very real.
So yes, I'm really present with that where I'm like, wow, I'm happier than I've ever been. I feel so good, so much better, like so light and free, but also grounded and like have such strong discernment. I stopped smoking weed, which was huge because I'm like
Whoa.
a very proud stoner, and I still
Yeah.
smoke weed. Like I still feel like it's
But
out
it's
and
not like
about.
as
It's not in my
recreational.
home
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
It's completely out of my home, and it's just, but it's been so beautiful, and something I'm really present with is like because I had this cleansing that I didn't even choose. It just was, that's how the cookie crumbled, or the cookies. I like every success I've had this year, everyone around me is like so genuinely, purely in my corner, cheering me on, being so like, I feel like the reason why I've had so much growth is because I've had so much authentic, genuine support.
I love that.
So
Yeah.
that's how I've been. So it's been
That's
great.
really
And I'm
good.
working on not trying to play small or like have to
Yeah.
just like do like I used to do self-defeating humor, like, oh, I'm doing great, but like
But
still
like
wish I was
struggling.
yeah,
Yeah, but like mentally disabled.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm great, but I'm depressed. Like it's like,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
actually I am just great and I can just say that.
Yeah.
And that, so yeah, that's
No,
how
that's so
I've
good. I love
been.
that. And
Yeah.
I like, I mean, resonate with you so much on that. I think we even talked about that before. Just
Yeah.
like losing friendships is like such a, it's mourning, it's grief.
It's like losing family members in a way.
especially the ones that grew up with you because you, at least for me, always had this like vision of what our future would look like with them, you know,
Totally.
like, oh my God, you're
Totally.
gonna be the auntie to my kids. And like
Yeah.
they'll be at my wedding, you know. And so to like mourn those like memories that haven't even happened yet, you know,
Totally.
and also the
Past,
memories that you
present, and
have had,
future.
like the memories that you've created with them, but also the future that you thought you would have with them. That like that's painful.
Yeah.
And so, but
yeah.
I think, and I see it, not only has it happened in my life, but I've seen it happen to so many people, is that it's just like leaving room for growth.
Yeah.
So there's always that shift that happens afterwards where you're like, oh my God, actually, I'm growing in so many different areas of my life, you know?
Yeah.
And so, and, or you like meet new people or whatever it is. And it's because you needed to get rid of like some old baggage to able to continue, because community is important too.
It's huge.
And
Yeah.
especially when you're pursuing, I mean, I think anything, you always just want people like rooting for you.
Yeah.
And when you have like some sort of, at least for me, like this negativity that's around you, even though it's not being said straight to your face,
Yeah.
the energy's felt.
Oh, yeah.
And it affects you.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
totally.
So it's real.
There's this crazy study that I just read about how we can smell emotions. Like this, okay, this study sounds like so gross if
I'm
you
like
had to do
congested,
it.
but I'm like, can I smell emotions?
Well, no, so there was this study where they had a bunch of people wearing different like white shirts, no deodorant, anything. And they put them in different controlled environments. Some people were put in environments that would make them scared. Others were put in environments that would make them feel empowered and successful. And so they
Yeah.
had all of these different experiences, and then people would sweat into these shirts, and then they would give the shirts back to the scientists, and then the scientists went to a different group of people and were like, can you just smell these different shirts in these different sections and tell us how you feel?
Yeah.
And every single person who smelled the shirts, they all liked the shirts that smelled like the empowerment sweat, but the fear sweat made them feel scared and anxious. The other, and I
Wow.
forget what the other t-shirts were, but essentially we can actually smell it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that makes that science,
Yeah. Yeah.
pleasure science.
Pleasure science and
Exactly.
intuition. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Well, anything else? Any updates? I mean, are you dating?
I am.
Oh my
Or
God.
well, I haven't met like I
Okay.
have I mean I've had like a really wonderful time being single, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I'm not dating anybody now. I do have my eye on someone who's been like pleasantly surprising me, and we have this like very yummy kind of mysterious will they won't they thing going on right now.
Oh my God.
And I think we both kind of know that we're like
it's gonna happen.
I think so. Well, I think so in like a sexual way at
Yeah,
least.
yeah. Who are they? Like, who is it?
I don't want to say too much because I
Okay.
want to keep
Mystery.
the mystery keeps sex alive longer, actually.
Okay.
Like keeping a level of mystery actually is better for intimacy. And so I don't want to say too much, more so because I want to like enjoy the juiciness of like the crush and the fun. But that has been like having a genuine crush is so
fun.
nice.
Having
And
a
so,
little
yeah.
crush is so much fun.
Yeah.
I do miss those days, but I'm also happy, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, totally.
So, but okay, but going back to your saying, like, just keeping the mystery alive, like, do you think that affects, like, having sex on the first date?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think it definitely can, but I also think we get this misleading idea that sex takes the mystery away. And I think overgiving is what takes the mystery away.
Okay.
So if you have sex on the first date because you want them to like you, then I do think that'll take the mystery away because you're kind of giving off this energy that you're overgiving to someone. It's not genuine. But if two people genuinely like have sex, like I met this guy and we had sex the first night that we met and it was unbelievable. It was amazing. And we kept texting and like there continued to be mystery for like the entire time and like it didn't affect anything.
Okay.
And the reason why I believe is because when we had sex on the first date, I was genuinely like, I want to do this. I'm 100% in. He was definitely like 100% in. There wasn't one person thinking, I'm doing this, so I hope they like me.
Oh, which was always me when I was single.
Me too. No, I healed that. I healed that, but that was me too.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're going into it, whatever your gender, because guys will do this too, queer people will do this, like you'll have sex because you think it's what someone wants, then yeah, I do think that'll take the mystery away, but it has nothing to do with the sex. It has to do with your intention going in. People can, like we're saying, people can pick up on things that are esoteric and not named.
Yeah.
Like mystery is an essence. It's not, so you can have sex with someone and keep it mysterious.
It's true.
You really can.
Because how many times have we fucked that guy?
Or girl.
Or girl.
Yeah.
And then always been like, wait, who are you?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
like
who is this person?
Yeah. Oh God, me every time in my 20s. My whole 20s was like.
I feel like that's a very like 20-something year old. Yeah, like you're just like more gravitated towards like the bad, edgy like person that just like doesn't like want to tell you how they feel, so they keep it really cool. Fuck that.
Yep.
But the sex is always good.
Yeah, the sex is good. Well, and that's one of the reasons why the sex is so good.
Yeah.
It's because there's mystery.
But how do you have mystery when you're in a relationship for like, for instance, me and Brian for like 5 years?
Yeah. Well, creating space, going on like spending time away from each other.
Okay.
You know, like that could be one way. There's not like one specific way, but it's like, imagine if you like I actually had a couples client and they were 7 years into their relationship, had super hot sex the whole time, but they were from different countries. And so they spent like most of the year together, but like at least 3 months apart, not all at the same time, but it was like 2 weeks here, 3 weeks there. And it was spread out throughout the year. And so they were always missing each other. So that's one way that you can do
I love that. I feel like, I don't know, I was like, an Aquarius, I like love that. I'm like, let me fucking miss you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, Aquarius will love that.
I could hang out. I mean, I hang out with him all the time. I live with him, obviously. I never get tired of him. Like, that doesn't ever go away. But there is this kind of, again, the mystery that is sometimes missing because it's just like
we're so together.
We're
no more
together.
Mystery.
So you're like ingrained in each other's daily lives that it just becomes more so of just a routine versus like like having that mystery of let me go away for a while, or even just I'm gone for a day and I like that he like misses me. You know what I mean?
And that could be another thing, but also like if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to go on a vacation, or I don't have the budget to just go on a solo trip all the time, developing new hobbies, starting a small business, doing something that's going to like you can pour your heart into genuinely, that is outside of your relationship, and that is something new. This is another way we can create mystery. Like, oh, I'm going to start I'm going to learn a language. I'm going to take language classes every Wednesday night. All of a sudden we're in a new routine and I'm not home every night of the week. Right? So it doesn't have to look like spending a lot of money or going on these vacations. It can look like it's honestly like returning to the idea that you're self-partnered. So like like I don't like saying date yourself just because that's been said so many times that I feel like we're almost numb to it. I think it's more so falling in love with something else. And then you have, because falling in love isn't just falling in love with a person. Like, I'm in love with the work that I do as a sex scholar.
Yeah.
I love it, you know? And so, and that would keep me like, I could go into the bath and read a sex book for like 2 hours and then, you know, come out and my partner's like, where have you been? Right? Like, and in fact, my ex would always get jealous, which this was like kind of toxic. Like, don't date someone like this necessarily. However, I loved my work so much that I would be like going to events or going to network or going to I was always doing something, and she actually would get jealous. You know? And so I do think like you need to figure out like a fine line and compatibility. Like me and her weren't right for each other in the end, but I wish her all the best. But yeah, that's another way that you can create mystery in your relationship. Start to get into something new, learn a language, develop a hobby, start a business. Another thing that I saw was really successful with long-term couples is doing your own private book club. So you and your partner read, like you pick a book and then your partner will pick a book and you switch off. But now you're like reading these things separately and then like once a month come together and are like, okay, book club. Like, what did you think from this book that we're mutually reading, but separately?
Oh, cute.
Which can work for some people. Some people are like, I am not trying to read. But I like that mindset
of just like you're doing the same thing separately, but at some point you come together and you talk about it and you bond over it.
And it gives you something new to think about and talk about, and you can like realize, because here's the thing about mystery is great for sex and eroticism, but it's not great for intimacy. And so it's like we have to figure out how to have this balance, because too much mystery is you don't love me, you are not showing up, the intimacy is not there. And so like what's so great with couples, especially people who've been together for a long time, you know how to create intimacy. And that's what everybody craves at the, like, I want to be in love and I want to have that intimacy. But if you have too much intimacy, then the sexual desire goes away because there's no mystery. I know everything about, I think I know everything about you. What keeps sex spicy is novelty, new, because that's another one, doing something completely new. This can look like opening up a relationship, trying BDSM, going to a swingers party, or like a swingers cruise. That could be another fun one.
I know. Where do you find swingers cruise? Asking for a friend.
Florida. They all
Florida.
Ironically, not known for being sex positive,
but Florida.
Well, that's where all the cruises can get out of. But
it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense.
But there's 3 major swinger cruises, and I don't remember them off the top of my head, but like
but they're there.
They're there. Yeah.
You know, I think I went on swingers cruise like side of TikTok because I did see like someone give a tour, a little bit of just like the playroom or something. No one was in there. It was like empty, but it was like, like we're on a cruise and this is, and I was like, people are like, oh my God, there's cruises for swingers. Like this is
hell yeah, baby.
Like, but I love that.
No, I mean, I want to go on. I haven't like been partnered at the time that I found out about different cruises, but I would love to go to one.
But okay, so we got an email, and when I saw this, I was like, okay, I need to have Nadege on because all of us, we talk on the show about our experience, but you're a professional. So so I feel like this person needs professional help. And also I think it's something that I've also been openly struggling with. So I think it'd just be a really fun discussion. Okay. This one is called Complicated Libido.
Yay.
You're
not alone.
You're not alone. Hey girl, I feel like I could use some advice. These past 2 months, I've been going through major family stuff, plus finishing school, and both things have shut down any sexual desires, which is interesting because I naturally have a decent libido. Well, in these past few months, 3 to 5, my partner and I have not been as intimate, and it mostly is because I have shut it down. Like, not in a good mental space. Like, if I really needed something, I would just use my vibrator on my own by myself. But lately, I've been feeling like my libido is coming back, and when we've done stuff lately, I never come, but he does at least 1 to 2 times. Like he's putting his desires before mine, and I don't know how to feel about that. I hate to bring it up because I don't want to complain because he's a good man and has helped me out in these tough times, but I'm sexually frustrated. LOL. I brought up us going to seed store. What's a seed store? Sex store, maybe.
Probably sex store.
Yeah,
We're gonna assume.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume a sex store and getting me a vibrator for us to use together, and he was open to it, but nothing has come to fruition. Like, am I being needy after being dry for so long?
I mean, first off, I think it's easy to Google this one fact, but like stress will absolutely lower libido. And also a fun fact, getting an extra hour of sleep will raise your libido by 14%.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that can really help. But like, I mean, what part of this do we want to tackle first?
So is she being needy after being dry for so long?
No. No, not at all.
Yeah.
First off, one of the biggest reframes I love is how good does it feel to be needed? Right? So whenever we think like, God, I'm being needy, I like love that reframe. Like, no, it feels good to be needed. And I think in sex, this is where we can really struggle to like want to speak up about certain things. One of the biggest things I recommend is if you're struggling in sex, talk about it before the next time you have sex.
Okay.
Don't bring it up in the moment because there's a lot of pressure happening and your partner can really be confused and think like, oh, she or he is bringing this up because I did something wrong right now, as opposed to something has been happening. And a script I really love that I give with clients is like, hey, you know, my body is doing some funny things right now, and I'm really struggling to have orgasms, and I want to have a good time with you. Yeah. And now with this person specifically, now like there's several things. She can go and get a vibrator herself, but it also sounds like that's not really the option she wants to take. She wants it to be this mutual experience. And what's interesting with men, straight men specifically, they like feeling like they're winning when they're supporting you. So if they're being nagged at, even though oftentimes,
very true.
Yeah, like oftentimes if we're talking straight relationships, oftentimes when women get to a point that they're nagging, it's because they told you several times. Mm-hmm. So just putting that out there. But so listen, you know, take initiative, take action. But I think in this case, like it could be really helpful to go up to your partner and to say, hey, I really love it when we like go and do things together, like start giving compliments, like showing them like what would be winning, make them feel like they're already winning. And like express like, let's go and do this together. And depending on, because a lot of times I see this again in straight relationships where straight men have been coddled in a way by their mother, where when they're in a relationship with a woman, they expect their lover to take care of them in maternal ways. And that's not sexy. Yeah. You know, speaking of taking the intimacy, the arousal away, that'll do that. And so something that can be really helpful if like you want your man to do something and you've said like, hey, take me to dinner more, maybe start by like helping him figure that out. So it's like, hey, I want to go to this sex toy store and I found these 3. Which one do you want to go to and what day? So it's like he doesn't need to all of a sudden feel all this pressure to be like, oh God, I have to do everything. Yeah. And I also think a lot of men are socialized to like, oh, they're supposed to do all the things. I don't think any human being wants to be responsible for doing all the things. Right. Too.
That's fair.
You know? And so, but then on the flip side, again, in straight relationships, we see women doing way more emotional labor than they really should be. And that'll also kill your libido. You know, it'll kill anybody's libido. So the first thing that I would say is like, hey, honey, like I found these different sex toy shops. Like, which one do we want to go to? And I'm free on Thursday. Are you free on Thursday? And then, you know, so it's like we're kind of setting the stage here.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're being too needy at all. Not at all. This is like sexual communication is like literally one of the hardest things. There's actually studies that show sexual communication can be harder for people to do than like arguments, than arithmetic, than things that they're afraid of. Sexual communication makes us feel unsafe.
It's so vulnerable because you don't want to feel judged. You don't want to feel like you're coming off too strong. You don't want to feel like, or just embarrassed,
Embarrassed, or like you accidentally offend someone, or you're
Yeah, you
blaming
don't want to offend
them.
some. Yeah, because you don't want to
Yeah.
like actually. Yeah, exactly. Like you're scared to offend somebody. So that is very valid. But I like the tip of saying like, okay, like these are some good sex shops, or maybe some good toys that I like. Like,
Yeah.
which one do you like more? Because I think I read this book so long ago, and I don't know like if it's something that's, I don't know. But remember that book, Why Men Love Bitches?
Oh, I love that book. Yes,
Okay,
I remember
okay.
that book. I read it too. Listen, I needed to
I
learn
think
how to be a bitch.
yes, I
like
needed
I
to.
was too nice.
Same. I was
Yeah.
too nice early in my 20s, so I was like, let me just read this. And I don't really remember everything in the book, but one of the things that has stuck with me was make men feel like they made that decision for you, but set them up
Yeah.
in a way where you're not necessarily telling them what to do, but you're kind of like almost giving them a little bit of guidance. And then, and if once it's completed, they'll feel like, oh, like I felt really good about that, because
and like think that, it's like positive reinforcement really helps.
Yes.
Like, but it is a fine line. It's a fine line between like, let me help you and let me not overgive or be taking on too much.
Exactly. Or, but I think in this circumstance, it might be just one of those things where she just, again, might have to kind of set it up in a way that it makes it like easier. Or, I mean, I don't know. I mean, or just go to the store yourself, pick out what you want, and be like, look what I got.
Yeah, or go to the store, maybe pick out 3 or 4 vibes.
Yeah.
Bring them back and be like, hey, I went and I got these options. I can return the others.
Yes.
But if you're going to return it, don't take it out of the box.
Yeah.
And also, like when you're at the store, make sure it's returnable, because some vibrators are final sale. But yeah, maybe go and get several, bring it back, Another thing I would say too that I think will really help this girl is, when it comes to sexual communication, it's not a one-time thing. It's very normal for it to cause a little friction at the beginning. You're supposed to talk about it more and more. That'll make you more comfortable.
Yeah.
The reason why sexual communication is so hard is you're feeding 2 birds with one scone. You are, on the one end, talking about sex. That is already going to make your nervous system activate, because sex is scary to talk about. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, you're talking about what you want. So you're actually doing 2 things at once. You're normalizing the experience of talking about sex in your body and in your brain, and you're trying to get your partner on board with what you want and talk about what they might want too.
Right.
So that's also why it's difficult. But again, like, it's really not a one-time conversation. And I think, like, for anyone listening, set the expectation that it could take 30 to 90 days to see your sex life improve after you start communicating. It's not usually it's not usually going to happen right away. Even with me, like, as a professional person, like, I remember dating this girl and our sex was like okay.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would initiate us talking about it. She was pretty closed off, but I, like, kept trying, and it did turn things around. But even as a professional, it took months. Like, it doesn't,
You're still human, and it takes time. It's like almost just trying to create a new habit. But I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you handle when your partners have, like, you and your partner have different libidos? Like, for instance, perfect example I've talked about on the show a lot is Brian. It has a way higher libido, way higher libido than I do. Like, I think for so long I've beat myself up a little bit because I don't have very high sex drive.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm friends with the twins, and I'm friends with so many, I think so many sex positive women in my life, not just the twins, but that I see the example of, like, oh yeah, they're all have such high sex drives, and mine doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
And I put so much pressure on myself to be that. But I feel like I finally got to a place where I'm learning to accept that this is my libido, that this is mine, and just because it's not super high or whatever it is, or not the same as Brian's, doesn't mean that it's not there. I just need to stop bullying myself.
Yeah.
And
that'll help. the negative
Yeah.
self-talk will help. But I will say another thing, when we're dealing with lovers who have different libidos, what's really helpful is to completely like sit down. I don't know if you've and Brian have done this. Sit down and like define sex. What does sex mean to you? What does sex mean to him? And then whatever you write down, the next step is like broaden it even more. So it's like, can sex, because I feel like oftentimes people will have different libidos, and then I'm like, okay, what's your definition of sex? And it's like, oh, penis and vagina, right? And then it's like, okay, well, if that is it, then you're assuming that your libido is attached to one particular sex act. So that could be the problem right there. And what if we redefine sex as like, I can be naked and hot and like you can masturbate and just like adore me.
Yeah.
And like, so I don't need to be the vessel of your pleasure. Your pleasure is not contingent on like being inside of me when I don't want it to be, but you can get off at any time. And we can find other ways to support each other. Because I think one thing, take penetration off the table. Have you guys ever tried that, where it's like you have intimacy play dates and you can be like naked and have fun, do other things, which also doesn't even have to do with like doing oral sex. Because that's also, it's like, it's not like trying to replace P and V with like oral or whatever. Because then like if you don't want to do it, you're just going to be tired. You're not going to want to, but like creating different expectations for what it means to get off with each other. So that way, if one person has a higher libido than the other, it's like, hey, like we can still be spicy and have fun, but I am not obligated to do anything that I don't want to do.
Right. Okay. I like that, because I think that does take the pressure off of like, okay, because maybe I am feeling intimate, but I'm not in the mood to like do penetration, you know? Like it's not the only form of sexual intimacy that we could do. There's so many different ways, and there's so many different
and we need to like normalize making that fun.
Yeah.
Because then, it changes things.
I feel like I've always just had this like stigma in my head, because I remember hearing it at a young age where it was like, oh, if the guy is like jacking off next to you, like, and you're not doing anything, then you're a horrible lover, and so I've always had that mindset of just like, okay, if he's like jacking off next to me, like I should at least put that penis in my mouth or put it in my vagina, or like I should give myself to him, because like how sad is it that he's self-pleasuring himself and I can't do that for him, know? And so it's like, I guess I could see maybe yes and no, maybe that's something that happens all the time that might be an issue, but it's like, but there's different ways. Like that could be something that could be really hot, like watching him, watching each other, or whatever it is.
Playing with a mirror, maybe going into the shower, like, he jerks off while you're like doing your makeup, like like I want, it's such a big part of it is mindset.
Yes.
And like getting over this idea that good sex looks a certain way and being sexually successful looks a certain way. Like sexual success is like your just way of being erotic together and having that feel satisfying and fun, and it has nothing to do with any specific act, but we have to really relearn that. Like if you were a client, I would have you write one affirmation 5 times every morning or evening, depending on like your flow. I like doing mornings. I'm like, that is best for me, but that is one way to start rewiring your brain. And like doing that for like 30 days. Like what would be an affirmation for you and your like libido that would feel like something that genuinely in like your heart, body, soul would feel like, yeah, actually I really stand behind that statement and that makes me feel empowered about my libido. Like let's start here. What is something you're grateful for with the libido you have?
That's a hard one, because I it's like, at least I have a libido.
Okay. That's a good place
like
to start.
At least it's there.
Yeah.
Like I'm grateful for that.
Good.
And I'm not, at one point I was just like, is something wrong with me because I don't just walk around horny like everyone else all the time? Or like, I feel like I was when I was younger, but like as I've gotten older, it's definitely changed. And I'm sure it's just because of life and stress, right? So I think
a lot of it honestly is stress.
1000% is
like
stress.
Before, one thing I will also say, I want to keep going with this gratitude thing.
Yeah.
Because I want us to figure out an affirmation before we leave today.
Okay.
That'll be helpful.
Love this. Yes.
Yeah, that'll be helpful. But another thing too is intimacy playdates can be really, really helpful with couples who deal with this. And what this is we are going to be erotic together, but the expectation is not to have sex. And in fact, the challenge is for both parties to not have sex.
Okay.
And I don't say challenge as in like obstacle, but challenge as in I dare you to have fun like this. And so intimacy playdate can look like watching a movie naked together. It can look like giving each other massages. It can look like, I love like getting my hair and scalp rubbed. So like for me, an intimacy playdate is like bubble bath and wash my hair.
Yeah.
You know, like doing these things, that's going to help you get rid of stress, because one, I think like we can lose our libido as we age, because we realize, oh, I have to pay bills, I have to do this, I have to do that. So of course that'll work into it. And then the other thing is the pressure and expectation to please our partner, which happens again to all genders.
Yeah.
You know, like I've spoken to many men who are in your position, and I'm also on the asexual spectrum.
Yeah.
So I'm someone like, I'm demisexual. I don't experience sexual desire for someone until they're my friend. So that really fucked me up for a long time, because I'd see all of my friends like being like, they're so hot and I want to do this and one night stands.
Yeah,
and
I definitely I feel like I identify as like a demisexual in a sense, where like I have to have a connection with you.
Yeah, or else I don't really have desire.
Unless it's exactly. Yeah. You could be the hottest person ever, and I might make out with you or whatever, but like to have sex is like. Yeah.
And there's very rare exceptions. Like
actually, I don't even think making out, maybe because I was just young and drunk. But nowadays, I'm just like, yeah, it takes a lot.
No, totally, totally. And even like that story I was telling earlier about like that one night stand that I had, or not one night stand, but having sex on the first date. That guy looked like Jon Snow. Okay,
Wait, who's Jon Snow
from Game of Thrones?
Oh,
girl, nerd out with me some night. I will. We'll go ham. But no, like that's why. And so it's like my demisexuality. I could be attracted to this person because he looked like a TV character. But so that's one thing I would say actually. Like with you and Brian, like plan what? Oh yeah, there's Jon Snow. I had sex with his doppelganger. It was lovely. Look at him. Ooh, he's brooding. He's upset, but he's hot.
He's brooding.
He's brooding. He's always brooding. Jon Snow is like always suffering. That guy never got off the struggle bus, honestly.
Hilarious. I'm not a Game of Thrones person.
It's okay.
Okay.
They honestly, like by the end of it, I wasn't either. They really destroyed that show. But that is for another day and time.
Yeah.
That's for another type of
podcast. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say, so one thing for you, but also anybody listening who relates, schedule an intimacy play date like at minimum once every 30 days.
Yeah.
That'll be really helpful, because now you have a time to be intimate, discover other ways of being with each other, and like really just explore what that looks like, and you'll start to feel the difference of, oh, this is what no pressure eroticism feels like. That'll be something really interesting. That'll help untap. Yeah.
I will say, like, going back to what you were saying about having the discussion of what each of our relationship with sex looks like, or how we define sex. I remember, because sex was like something that we kind of kept fighting about for, and I don't want to say fighting, but like having a discussion about, because he was just like, hey, sometimes I don't even know when we're going to fuck, you know, like we need to, like, when is this going to change? And one thing I did tell him, I was like, you need to give me time to like, to learn. It's just not going to change right off the bat, you know, like I need to like, give me a moment. But another thing too, is I finally just asked him, I was like, and mind you, we've been together for like almost 4 years at this point. But I finally asked him, I was like, what is your expectation?
That's a good question. Yeah.
And as simple as that is, I never asked him, or he's never even told me. And I just assumed that because he has a high libido, and because I know, you know, he has different fantasies and kinks that he wants to do, that I thought he would just want to have sex every day, couple times a day, and so then, just be crazy,
on yourself,
fucking slutty whore, you know. And it overwhelmed me. I was like, I can't do that. That's not me. And again, started bullying myself. I'm like, I don't have the libido like as Samantha from Sex and the City has. I can't do this. I can't perform. Like I have a lot. Like I have shit going on. Like I can't get myself into that mental space. And so I finally asked him, he's like, honestly, like once a week is fine. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, I put so much pressure on myself, and
Yeah.
he didn't even ask for that type of expectation that I he expected of me. So
And I'm
that,
so glad you said that, because that is a good question. Like,
yep,
everyone listening, you should ask your lover that question. I bet, like, because you're right, we don't ask these questions in relationships and we go in with our assumptions. That's only going to stress us out
yeah,
more.
yeah.
So, what if you guys had an intimacy play date once a week?
Yeah, so that's what we started doing that. I think we need to get back on the ropes, because the
Yeah.
last a few weeks, we've kind of fallen
Or
off a
every
little
other
bit.
week, like, depending,
Yeah,
give yourself the space for grace, like
for
we're busy
sure. And I
adults.
think it's like, I used to be so against scheduling sex, but I've now am such a full advocate for it, because especially as adults, and we live together and we
Yeah.
both work from home, it just, our lives could just feel, again, so mundane and routine.
Yeah.
And for me, especially, like, work and brocal therapy and things I need to do are always on my mind.
Yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
never leaves. As you were talking about, like, when you love something, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just there. So when to schedule intimacy, it's at least giving me this time frame of, okay, let's just forget everything else for a second, and
Yeah.
using this moment to just focus.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I mean, I think we even at one point, again, he was doing like massages on me, because he loves giving massages. And again, I've been stressed too.
Yeah.
So it was like a good thing for me to just like unwind.
Yeah.
And just like,
yeah.
versus just like jumping into it and be like, okay, I'm naked, let's fuck. It's just
Yeah.
like, I needed that. I need
Yeah.
time to relax. And for me, it's such a mental space too.
Yeah.
And I think for him, he could just like, if I could just say, hey, let's fuck right now, he could just get up and just fuck. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
he's so good at that, but that's not me.
No, and one thing I will say too, when we have partners with mismatched libido and that's a struggle, don't schedule sex, schedule play dates. So if you are struggling with mismatched libido or just libido in general, and then you schedule sex, the person who is struggling with the libido is going to feel added pressure to have sex on like Tuesday at 8
That's
o'clock.
true. Because
And so
sometimes there is
that's-
that downside of pressure. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
okay, it's the weekend. I know we're supposed to have this like fuck time, but I'm sick. I'm depressed. I this week was a lot. Like, again, you're right. There is that other side of it that's like, wait,
Like, what if I'm not able to perform?
I don't feel,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
I'm just not there.
So
Yeah.
I would say, like, for the next like 30 days, and I like giving like 30-day intervals, like, okay, for the next 30 days, let's do like intimacy play dates. Sex
Yeah.
is not expected. And also like normalize mutual masturbation. Like, sex is not expected in the sense that like I can't, like, there's no expectation that like I'm going to perform as the person with low libido.
Yeah.
But we could like have fun, and if you are turned on, like masturbate with like in front of me, or like
Yeah.
we can watch porn together. Like, we can have a moment that will give you climax as the high libido person, but like it's like I do not have to do any of this.
Yeah.
And that is so important, because the pressure is what's really getting in the way a lot of the time. And then the other question I would have is like, have you ever tried any supplements? Have you ever tried any,
Yes.
and have you found anything to be helpful?
So, they actually sponsored the show and like sent me a bunch of like gummies,
Nice.
but this, and I will say, I'm going to mention it here because I feel like it did really help. It also knocked me the fuck out. And when I tell you I rested.
Good, because that's the other thing, sleep.
And
Yeah.
I've slept. But it's this company called Mood, and they have like sexual arousal gummies. And I always like hear about those, but I never, like, I'm not really someone that like likes to get high. I don't smoke weed, so
Right.
it's never was something I thought I would be into. But just because they did send some products and I tried it, I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, like, I'm someone who just is not, I don't know how to relax. Like, I do, but I don't. But not like fully. Like, I could just be chilling and rotting in bed, but like, are you fully relaxed? Like, your body, you feel it in your body, right?
Yeah.
And I think with this one, it's supposed to help with the arousal. Is like, it definitely makes you just so like
relax.
Like my
Yeah.
body feels relaxed. And with the gummies, you know, it's more of a body high.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm even more like
Yeah.
So but sex was really good. He was even like,
Yeah.
dang, that was really good. I was like, yeah, it was like pretty nice.
So those are just like little tips, right? So we have the intimacy play date that you schedule regularly, like every other week, once a month minimum. You have some gummies or something that you can use. For someone like the girl who wrote in, I really love the idea of having a vibrator, having something else there. I also, again, let's normalize mutual masturbation. Like, you can get off and have such a hot time and do, like, how fun would it be if like you and Brian watch a movie naked or something, and then like or like before you even watch the movie naked, it's like, hey babe, come into the bathroom, I'm gonna be naked, I'm gonna like doll myself up, and like I want you to masturbate, or let's watch porn together, and like I want to watch you masturbate, like like find
I like when
ways.
he watches me masturbate.
Ooh,
like,
I love it.
I don't know, I just like want him to like just stand over me.
Nice. And see, so
And
that's
just,
something that you can, right? It's like, let's play. And I really do love the exercise. Maybe something else that you and Brian do, and anybody else listening who's struggling with this, sit down, get a piece of paper and say, okay, what are all the fun, hot things we could do that are not penetration or oral? Because those are two of our go-tos as humans. Like, sex is a social behavior, not a reproductive behavior. You learn how to have sex by watching others and listening to others talk about sex. Because of the way our culture is, we believe that sex, or good sex, is oral, anal, or vaginal penetration. And so we need to take these three things off of the menu so we can get creative and actually have bomb-ass sex. Your body has so many erogenous zones, and there are over 20 orgasms the human body can have in your ear, in your feet, in your nipples, in your armpits, the back of your knees. Your feet have more nerve endings than the tip of a penis. So it's ridiculous,
yeah, you did
right?
say that,
I know, I
yeah.
said that last time. Watch our last episode. I went ham. I was like lifting my feet
You're
up.
like,
and I was
look,
like,
this is where you touch it.
Yeah. No, I love getting my feet played with. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oral fixation too can be really like eating food, like sucking on things that again isn't a penis necessarily, you know, the neck. So that's another option. Like, let's sit down and write out, like, literally, let's list all the things we can do together that aren't penetration. And you'll see, like even like you were saying, like, ooh, that would be hot to do, like, the, you know, I'm putting on makeup, or him just like watching me while I masturbate, whatever. There's all of these options that are on the table that can help us feel more creative. But now I want to get back to your affirmation.
Okay.
Because that's the other thing. Like, no matter what's going on, no matter if your partner, like, you're so great because Brian is like so down, you know, like he loves you. He wants to do the things with you and figure out the solution with you. But for some people, like, their partner is not open or supportive. Like, they want to be open and supportive, but they're not there yet. And so this is why, like, also stepping back to what you can do with yourself is so huge. And that really starts with these like affirmative practices. And for anybody who like is like, oh, affirmations, blah, blah, I hear it all the time, lame, it'll literally change your brain chemistry.
Oh, for sure. It's like casting a spell.
It is. It literally is.
Yeah.
It makes your gray matter grow. This is the part of your brain that retains memory, that processes emotions, and that controls movement. So if you hear positive words of affirmation, you will move better, you will feel better, you will think better. It is wild. Like how, and so that's why with my clients, I'm like, you're struggling in this, we're going to pick an affirmation, and it's you have to pick words that literally make you feel expansive, make your heart completely open up, and it has to be a phrase you truly believe, body, soul, heart.
Yeah.
And then you write it 5 times a day. You write it either in the morning or in the evening minimum. I'll even share what mine are right now. Mine that I'm writing every day, and I do it for every area of my life. Mine is money shows up for me when I show up for myself. Mine is I'm always chosen, seen, and loved by all the right people. And then what is my final one? I know it because I wrote it this morning.
Right.
This is my ADD though. Whenever I have like there's 3 things, I forget number 3.
You're like, oh, the third one, yeah.
What is my third one? I trust in abundance and time because life wants me to succeed. I write all 3 of those 5 times every morning, people. So now we're going to work on yours.
My affirmations? Okay. This is fun.
I know,
okay.
isn't it?
I know. So wait. Where do we start?
Okay, so we started with what are you grateful for with your libido?
Yes.
You said that you have a libido.
But I have a libido.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's there.
Yeah. No matter what she's feeling, I'm not broken.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So maybe my libido's not broken.
Yeah, and let's go one step because
Or I
again,
love my
we want
libido.
yes, that's good. We want to make sure we avoid words like there's always like the starter phrase of like, oh, my libido's not broken, but then we want to like not
You don't
use
want
a
to see
word
we're broken.
like
Yeah.
broken. So okay, so you love your libido. Why do you love your libido? What inspired you to say that?
'Cause she works.
What does that mean?
That I don't want to use the word broken.
Say whatever you want right
Okay,
now
okay,
because we're
okay.
gonna
And then
get to
we'll-
the
okay.
phrase.
I love her because she works and she's not broken, even though society has told her she needs to be one way. She's just like she's healthy. She's healthy.
And
Yeah.
tell me more. So what does that mean that your libido is healthy?
I don't know. I don't know why I go back to like the shame of it.
Tell
like
me what's coming up. So what's the
I
shame?
think like, you know, and I've talked about this on the pod before, but like when I was single, I feel like I suppressed her because I didn't want to come off as like too easy or a whore, or even just to get myself attached to certain people, you know, like, so I think in my single years, she was very suppressed, and I didn't allow her to. I think I've tried to sometimes allow her to just fully be there, but I think most of the time I suppressed her. And now being in a relationship, it's almost like I've been so used to suppressing her. And now it's like I'm going through the opposite of like, I want her to be like booming, but it's, you know, and then I put shame on myself for that.
Yeah.
So I just want to like, again, just kind of take my power back of being like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, you don't
Yeah.
need to suppress her.
Yeah.
You don't need to shame yourself for not being a sexual whore
Yeah.
to my partner all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I am though, you know?
You are what?
I am capable
being
of being that
sexy whore.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm capable of being that fucking slut.
Yeah.
You know? Like she's there.
Yeah.
She's capable. She's healthy. It's
Yeah.
just getting rid of the shame and the expectations, and you know, so that's where my mind went to.
Yeah. So, and this is great. So
yeah.
being at this step, what we actually need to do is self-forgiveness. So before getting to gratitude, we need to get over the grief. And so
that's where the tears.
So we need to do self-forgiveness. And so one thing that you can do beyond today, like after today, and I also do this with clients, is what's called a forgiveness dump. I forgive myself for feeling like my libido is broken. I forgive myself I forgive my body. I forgive my libido. I forgive my mind, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a free flow. And so, but what we'll do now is just actually like talk to your libido. Because I love how you were already doing this, like talking to her as a friend, as a person. And when we're protecting ourselves, what we do is we split ourselves into different parts, and then we give that part a role. So your libido has been playing a role. Yeah. And now we get to welcome her to play a new role. Oh, Junie.
No, Junie's getting comfortable. She's
She
like, there's
is.
healing
She's like,
happening in this room.
Yeah, she's like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. She's like, keep talking.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, take just a beat, a breath, like a nice deep inhale and exhale. And what is something that you would just like to forgive yourself for?
Nadege, are we gonna cry? This is a crying pod. I'm running out of tissues. Okay. I would like to forgive myself for the pressure, number one.
Well, before we go to number two, say more about the pressure.
The pressure of just trying to please everyone else for the sacrifice of my libido. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Ew. It's
And
like
if
I
she
want to
was-
cry, but
yeah, but the makeup looks good.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you don't want to like, you know, fuck it up.
I'll let you know if the makeup starts to look bad.
Yeah.
And so how would you like say that to her as if she was like a friend that you had not been treating very well?
Girl, are we really gonna cry? Okay. Sorry, humor is my way of handling things.
That's okay.
too,
You
so.
can show up however you want to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm saying it to my libido.
Yeah, like
I'm like
she's your
she's
friend.
my homegirl.
She's your friend. Yeah.
I'm sorry that I chose trying to please everyone else versus please you.
And now say the same thing, but forgiveness. I forgive.
And I forgive you for just trying to survive. Ew. So are you gonna cry?
Probably not. I actually don't cry.
You don't cry.
It's like that's my trauma, girl. That's my trauma. We could come back, and I'd love for you to make me cry. God, I wish someone could. That's my bullshit. Dead mom can't cry.
Oh my God, that's
we'll save
dark.
that for another.
Yeah. But okay.
But that's good. Crying is a release.
I know. I need to like. I mean, I know I make jokes about my crying, but I'm just also like, I need to just.
No, but that's good. So we like forgave a level there. And so then is there anything else you want to say there with that forgiveness before we go on to the next thing that you were going to say?
It's okay. You know, kind of like the safe feeling of like forgiving your parents. You're like, they're just human.
Yeah.
It's like the same feeling. It's like, you're just human.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. What's next? What's number 2?
Well, you were going to say what was number 2.
Oh, I'm going to say number 2 because it's on me.
No, that's okay.
This is my libido.
You're doing great, babe.
I know.
You're healing so well. And honestly, one thing I love about healing, the people who are the healthiest are the messiest.
Yeah.
So you are doing such a good job right now.
Thank you. Okay, number 2. I mean, I think the pressure kind of was like maybe I don't know if it's the only thing, but I feel like it's a lot of it. So I don't know if there's anything additional I have to say. Because like I understand why like I have that relationship with my libido. Like it doesn't feel like why do I have this? It doesn't feel confusing. Like, I don't feel confused to why my libido is anymore. I feel like at one point it was very confusing. So I don't feel confused anymore. Is there anything I get it?
What do you feel instead of the confusion?
Clarity. That was just like, that makes sense. Because my relationship with sex, sorry, so many tears. My relationship with sex has always been, complicated.
You're like a very pretty crier.
Am I really?
Yeah.
That's really sweet of you. Yeah. I'm like really trying to keep it together. It's like I don't know if this is like the Aquarius in me. It's like I am so emotional, but I also like cringe being emotional.
Yeah,
people are like, it's so
Aquarius.
Cringy. Like,
yeah.
Oh, look at me crying, cringe. But I'm like, it's okay,
Yeah.
And I just can't help it when it comes out. So I just have to laugh at myself. But I don't know. It makes me feel good to laugh at myself. Is that like a problem? Should I unpack that?
No, I think I'm a big believer of like show up as yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that like there is nothing like, show up as yourself. Like cry, laugh at yourself. That's okay. It's all good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, am I being a jerk to myself? But I don't think I'm being a jerk. I'm just.
I don't feel like you're being a jerk to yourself.
Okay.
I think like you're self-regulating.
Yeah. I'm just self-regulating. That's what it is. Yeah. It's just also so cringe.
It isn't though. That was a really beautiful release, and like you did a good job. Like
thank you.
It's hard to talk to these parts of ourselves. It really is.
It's been a while since anyone's asked me. I feel like I'm always asking people, which is fine because I love what I do. But I'm always like, oh, it was kind of nice to like someone just be like, just asking those questions.
Yeah.
It was nice.
So now let's return to the affirmation because we got a little bit of that grief out.
Yeah.
We named a little bit of that. And so, and actually I want to do a different exercise with you that I think will be really powerful at this point. It's a 3-step process to deal with negative thoughts.
Okay.
And so step 1 is naming it, which we've just done, you know. And then step 2 is challenging the thought. So these negative thoughts and shame and pressure and things that you have had, these stories that you have told yourself, if you were talking to a friend who is telling you, you imagine yourself as a friend and you're showing up to this conversation, you would obviously, like if I as your friend was like, oh, Steph, I'm so angry at myself. I'm like shutting down my own libido. I know that I'm doing it. You would challenge those thoughts and be like, Nadege, no,
For
right?
sure.
So this is step 2 of this process. We've named,
Ugh,
now
okay.
challenge.
Do I need more tissues?
Maybe.
Oh, pause. Let me get more tissues.
Maybe.
I'm like, oh, there's more tears coming. Okay,
Yeah.
1 second. Pause. Commercial
Broke
break.
girl therapy.
Yeah. Let me go gather myself.
Oh, beautiful crier. Although I will say there were like 2 tissues left in the old box.
That's
so like
true. So,
you
like,
didn't do, it wasn't like you were just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm a
Like,
political,
she cried
I'm
through
an
a box of tissues
environmental menace with my crying.
Yeah.
No. So now we're going to challenge the thought, right? Like you talking to a friend. What would you say to a friend who's coming to you with this exact problem?
I'll definitely tell her that I'll be like, Steph, and your libido, you're being so hard on yourself. Don't be mean to your libido. Don't be mean to that part of you that loves sex. That makes you human, and you're only human. And sorry, it was like a trauma, like, when you like random flashes, like
What
like
came?
so and I'm not mad at my friends for this because I understand that we were young, but I remember 7th grade, I had a digital camera, and I used to walk home with like 2 of my best friends because, suburb kids, we're all neighbors. So we'd walk home together, and my friend was recording on the digital camera because it's the early 2000s. No one had
that was the
smartphones.
thing. Oh, I remember.
Like,
if you didn't have a digital camera, you couldn't come to the sleepover.
You couldn't. Like, what are you here for?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and mine could like record video. And so she was recording our walk secretly. And in that walk, they were slut shaming me, my best friends. Granted, I forgive them. We were 7th grade.
Course.
Like, they don't fucking know, you know. But they were shaming me because I had a boyfriend that was Jeff. Jeff was my boyfriend, but I had phone sex with Brandon, this other white guy, and one of my best friends, love her to death, but one of my best friends at the one that was secretly recording, had told the whole school about how I had phone sex with Brandon. And so everyone was like, oh my God, Steph is a whore. Like, and she's also dating Jeff. Jeff found out. So it was like a scandal. And I just remember on that walk, they were just like, you're a whore. Like, you're a slut. Like, Steph, you are a slut. Like, you're always wanting to like make out with boys and do all the things. You had phone sex with Brandon on a landline, by the way.
Iconic, bitch.
I know, like, whatever, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, just because y'all didn't get it, shout out to Brandon. He's hot now. And he lives in
Brandon.
Colombia. So shout out to you. But yeah, so like, yeah, like, you're a whore. Like, Steph, like, I remember it's in synchronizing. They were like, 1, 2, 3, you're a whore. Like, they were like saying all the things, and I just like laughed it off because these are my best friends. Like, I didn't know how to stand up for myself at that time, and like they're also like laughing while they're doing it, so it almost just feels like we're all laughing together, but in reality, like, I knew deep down they're just laughing at me. And so, I think that definitely played a huge part of my like sex drive and my relationship with sex. It's because I think that I always felt like I was pretty early when it came to my sexual desires for men. And women a little bit, mostly men.
Same.
Bi curious, but like, but men. And I always felt like I couldn't fully like express it because even my closest friends would just think that I was such a slut, And so I felt like I was one of the first people that ever like really gained that sexual desire, but I've always had to suppress it from the very beginning. at such a, coming of age, right? Like everyone is like getting those hormones. And I think as soon as I even got the hormones, it was like, oh, I can't live out my truth. So I think that has now just kind of manifested into like where I am now. Oh my God, we're in therapy. Let me get a tissue. Ugh. Where it's almost like I trained my body and my mind to like not feel anything, instead of being the whore that I've always wanted to be. Yeah, that's where. So back to what the exercise was.
So we're challenging. So, well, one, I want to take a step here to like maybe forgive yourself again.
I forgive myself again. I think it's survival, and just trying to. I didn't understand. I was young. I don't know what, like, my parents aren't talking to me about my libido and like, sex. Like they're telling me don't even have it. Don't even think about it. Don't even like acknowledge it. Again, going back to suppressing it. It's like that should be saved for like when you're married or, and that it always instilled fear because religion, it stems from like religious values. So I think I would just say like, it's not your fault. Like, how could you have not, suppressed it or felt like you needed to? Like, you weren't taught any other way. So it's not my fault. I think we need to schedule another session. We need to keep this healing going.
But that's good. Yeah, you're so that the challenging of the thought is like, yeah, how could you have not like done what you needed to do to survive?
Yeah.
And it's valid and okay to have done what you needed to do to survive then.
Yeah.
And so we've named the feeling and the thought. We've challenged the feeling and the thought. Now is the fun part.
Okay.
We can reframe it.
Okay.
So how has it actually worked in your favor? What has been a gift of your journey with this?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? My ADHD.
What is a gift of this experience?
Okay.
How has this possibly actually served you or brought something beautiful to you?
I think it's, I will say like, although trauma sucks, I think trauma shapes us. And I think it actually makes us sometimes a little bit cooler. You know what I mean? Like, like look at the best people, like the smartest people. They've all have experienced something that has like shaped them to be better people. And I think that experience, although it did at one point make me suppress and like hate my sexuality and whatever, I think it also made me kind of revolt against it in a sense. Like maybe I think I got so suppressed that I was able to like shake it up. And I think I think the biggest gift is this podcast. I think that's where that comes from.
So in a sense, feeling shamed and hiding your libido to survive helped you find your voice and serve the world.
Because I think when you don't have an outlet creatively, at least for me, I feel like for me being able to express myself and to feel good about it is through art, like whether it be music or whatever. But I created oh God, I created this platform because I felt so silenced for so long. It was almost like I needed to have something that was loud because it was just a big like, fuck you, fuck what I've been taught, fuck what society has told me as a woman I needed to be, fuck my 7th grade friends, even though I love you guys to death. I know I don't take it personally. I know they would never do that now, but like, fuck that moment in my life where I felt so ashamed, like there's so many moments like that. I think, as people and as women, like we've experienced so many variations of that, but it's why I created this. It's why I felt I wanted to create something that like my younger self needed. Sorry, I cry.
I love this.
Can you cry too?
When?
Just pretend it.
When?
Yeah. Like
I'm really proud of you though, girl. Like you're going really deep right now. This is not easy. It's hard.
Yeah, this is really hard.
Yeah. And you're doing a really good job.
Oh my God.
It's super deep work.
Yeah. I felt like I needed this cry.
Good.
But yeah. That's real. Yeah. Okay, next.
Well, now we're ready for the affirmation. Like you've really kind of worked through, and this is why like creating the affirmation, it can sound like fluffy, but like we just saw, it actually, you have to unpack a lot to get to this other point. So now that we've really identified like how you felt, these key moments that have come up, we've challenged the belief and we've reframed it. And so had this full circle moment. Now thinking of like your future, connecting to your libido, bringing her out again in a way where she can come when she wants. There's no rush. She can take her time. And you're in this beautiful relationship with a man who's excited to like support you and just be with you on this journey.
Yeah.
Knowing all of these things, what is something that you could say to yourself to help you feel connected to your libido and even empowered, that you truly believe and that just makes you feel expansive? We started with my libido is healthy.
Should we chat GBT this? Just kidding. No, that has to come from me, not AI.
I mean, chat can actually
I
be helpful.
I love her, don't get me wrong.
Chat could be helpful. I'm not against using chat to help, to be like, hey, I'm struggling. Can you help me start to, because sometimes, like, especially when we're navigating through all these heavy feelings, it is harder to think. So listen, if you want to use chat, like, you being Steph or anyone listening, like, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's true, because it sometimes... you just need somewhere to start,
Yeah. Well, you're just allowed to have help.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Period. Like you're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to have help. Do you want to grab chat?
Yeah, should we?
Yeah, let's get senior chat on the line. See what good old chatty chat has to say.
Let's see what Chat GBT has to say.
And I love it. We did just have like an impromptu session.
I
didn't think we were gonna do that today. I was like, we're gonna have fun, talk about blah blah sleep penis. Okay.
It'd be silly, fun, goofy. I haven't seen you in a while, but here I am. I'm like, oh.
I mean, I live for this. I have so many.
I know. I was like, oh, you're asking all the right things, and it's fucking me up in a good way. Okay. What's a good affirmation to tell myself to help me
feel empowered
with my own libido and take away shame and feel no pressure?
Yeah.
And just acceptance.
Yeah. Ooh, yes. What a prompt.
Right? That's the affirmation right there.
That could be.
Yeah, I know.
And see, this is why I like working with chat. Do you see how it took off all the pressure?
It did.
This is why it's so good to ask for help and to accept help, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm honestly sharing this for anyone listening. Because I feel like sometimes we'll do these things and we won't pick up on how revolutionary this small moment just was.
Yeah.
Of you being like, I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to say, and now look at everything that flowed.
Exactly. It just came out of me.
It just,
Yeah. My desires are natural, worthy, and nothing to be ashamed of. Dear, I honor my body. Oh my God, trust its rhythm. That's a good one. And embrace my sexuality on my own terms. I like that one a lot. There are some other options.
Let's read them.
There is no right or wrong way to feel desire. Ooh.
Oh, that's nice.
That's good. I give myself full permission to explore, rest, or express it however I choose. My libido is a part of me, not all of me.
Oh my God. Chat. Good Lord.
Chat GPT, bitch.
God. Thanks, Dr. Chat.
They're right.
Love you, boo.
I welcome it with compassion, not pressure. That might be it right there.
I mean, you could pick more than one. I have 3 that I'm doing right now.
I release shame and embrace my body's wisdom. I'm safe in my sensuality. I love those. Okay. I think the ones that really stuck to me are my libido is a part of me, not all of me. Because, ooh, girl.
Honestly, I might take that one too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes even in my on the asexual spectrum, like I'll still have to remind myself, like, don't compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, and especially the twins, like we love the twins, love you guys, like some of my closest friends, but they'll like have this amazing sex life. And I'm like,
and it's what we love about them.
Oh my
right?
God.
And that's why
it's inspiring.
It's inspiring. And that's why.
To death. But then I'll be like, man,
like,
I can't do
like
that.
Yeah. Or like, wait, but I'm not like that. So yeah. So I like my libido is a part of me, not all of me. I welcome it with compassion, not pressure. I love that.
Yeah.
And I also do love there's no right or wrong way to feel desire.
Hey,
there we go.
That's a nice release.
I know. I give myself full permission to explore, rest, or express it however I choose. Like, I love those.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this. Thank you, chat.
Yeah. And so knowing your schedule, when in the day, and I really always recommend morning or evening. Where in the day do you think you could wake up and just like in a journal, keep a journal next to your bed, easy, accessible journal? And the best way to create a consistent habit is to make it as easy as possible. Yeah. So we'll get like a journal or like printer paper if you don't have a journal right now, but something next to your bed. Do you think morning or evening would be more realistic for when you would write those?
I think morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I will say for anyone listening, it's very helpful to actually physically write it, not write it on a phone.
Yeah.
Your brain,
I love physically writing it.
Your brain actually like when you write something down, your brain remembers it 3 times. One when you think it, one when you write it, one when you see it. That's why it's so much more powerful, and that's why it'll rewire your neural pathways.
Yeah.
But for anyone who is going to try this at home, if you miss a day, that's fine. Just let it go. Start again tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it. Done.
Take the pressure off.
Yeah. Take the pressure off.
I think that's the whole point. Okay. Okay, yay. Well, dang. Any last words or?
Like goodbye, you mean?
You're like, peace out?
Or should I tell people where to find me?
Yeah. You plug yourself. I don't know if there's like a last closing statement you wanted to say.
I
or
think,
you just want to jump to.
I love that. No, I mean, I think a last closing statement that I would say is like, there's no normal libido. Like there is no normal libido at all. There are people who are asexual, even on the asexual spectrum. There's people like you or I, demisexual, we have sex.
Sorry to interrupt. You were saying like your asexual self. Like, can you talk about that further? Because I know that we're supposed to wrap up, but I don't think we've ever really like fully touched on that. Yeah. Yeah. Like what does asexual mean, and how do how do I identify that, especially if you know, whatever, just talk about it.
I love this. So this is amazing.
Just go.
So asexuality is a spectrum. Yeah. Right. And the first step I always like to go to is defining what sexual orientation is. So asexuality is a sexual orientation. It doesn't describe like it's not determined by libido. It's determined by who you're attracted to. Okay. So a lesbian is attracted to women. A straight person is attracted to their opposite gender. An asexual person does not experience desire for people. That is, so we're talking about who you are attracted to or not. We're not talking about libido. A lot of people who are asexual. So a lot of people who are asexual do actually have high libidos and masturbate. Some people who are asexual don't masturbate at all. It has nothing to do with your libido. Now, on this spectrum of asexuality, there's different ways that people experience asexuality. And by the way, if you ever hear the term ace, that's like a short, like kind of wink wink term for asexual people. You just say ace, so I'm ace. And so some aces are like, just don't really desire sex, don't really want that, but maybe they want romance, cuddles, affection. Other people on the asexual spectrum might have high libidos, so maybe they masturbate, but they don't have desire for another person. But this doesn't mean that they're not going to get married. Or there's a lot of asexual people who are married happily in relationships, and sex is just not a priority or maybe not a part of that relationship. Then there's demisexuality. This is a really popular demographic of people, not just people who are aces, but honestly people who don't even realize that they're on the asexual spectrum. And like I said, if you're demisexual, this means that you don't really experience sexual arousal or desire until after you're friends with somebody. And so that can be kind of confusing for folks.
I feel like
and a lot
like
of
relate
people
to that hard because I don't like really get just aroused like that. Like, for instance, I know so many people who like love porn, and I love porn too. I think porn is great.
I can watch it like a movie. Like I could watch Dune, or I could watch like lesbian scissoring, and I'm just like, where's the popcorn? Like,
me too.
Yeah.
And I'm like more concerned about production. Maybe it's just my ADHD too. But like, but I'm not like, oh fuck yeah. Like, let me just fucking grab my vibrator right now and just I don't, when I see other people do that, I think maybe that goes to shame with like my libido too. It's just like, like when I see other people do that, I'm like, oh, but I don't like get off like that. That's not, but when I get to know someone and, build some sort of like bond with them. Oh, that's like
boom. There we go. Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
And and it's interesting because there's also like different arousal types.
That
and yeah, totally. There's different arousal types too. I'll say this is not necessarily about asexuality, but just in general, there's responsive desire and spontaneous desire. Spontaneous desire, people who are maybe more like Brian, it's like they're the microwave, like 60 seconds and they're ready to go.
Right.
And then other people are like an oven, that's more responsive desire, where it's like, hey, like we need to bake and put the ingredients, and then the oven needs to be on, and then it's going to take time. And those are also two different arousal types. And like, tell me why spontaneous desires and responsive desires always find their way to each other. I think because it creates mystery and longing and yearning, which again is great for great for eroticism.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of a little crash course into asexuality. There's an incredible book written by Angela Chen, a journalist, and it's called Ace. It's so good. And in that, one of the coolest things, there's so many cool things in there, but one thing that is fascinating is if anybody's familiar with Alfred Kinsey, he's this like psychologist who he created the Kinsey scale, where like on rating from 1 to 6, you can either be heterosexual on one side or homosexual on the other. And something that's really fascinating I discovered in this book is, as a sexologist, Alfred Kinsey is like one of the fathers of the industry. When Alfred Kinsey was creating the Kinsey scale to distinguish between straight people and homosexual people, he found a bunch of asexual people who experienced no sexual attraction to another person, and that interrupted and his research. So he literally labeled them people X and hid the research. So we've actually known, or scientists have discovered, asexual people as a huge population for decades, but that research was actually hidden and buried.
Oh shit.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's really kind of fucked up. But anyway, the book Ace by Angela Chen, it like reads like butter. It does not read like a science book.
Yeah.
It's filled with such interesting stories, and it really dives into this. Like, if you're curious about this, you think maybe I'm ace, maybe I'm not, start there. You know, that's a really, really good book.
Oh, I love that. Actually, I might read that.
Yeah.
I might read that one. I don't read many books.
I bet it's on Audible or something.
Yeah. I love an Audible.
Yeah.
I love an audiobook.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. I love that. Okay. I'm going to read that book, and then maybe we should talk about should we do a book club?
Ooh, hey, I'm down to do book club.
Okay. Let me like read the book, and maybe we'll like talk about it.
I love that.
That's such a good idea.
Hell
Look
yeah.
at us. Okay.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to do that. Because I think that's very interesting. And I think I would like to dive into myself a little bit more to see if that is something that I like resonate with. And I think going back to like the relationship with sex and my libido, I think maybe that might help me maybe fully understand it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I discovering asexuality was so healing for me.
Yeah.
Because I had so many similar ideas of like, I'm broken, or for me, my story wasn't I'm broken. It's I'm different from everybody else. And like that I hated.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I just want to not be different and I want to enjoy sex. And now I do, but it like, I had to learn so many things to be like, oh, this is me and my libido is healthy.
Yeah.
You know, like,
This was very fucking healing. Okay.
Yay.
Well, where can people find you?
Well, my name is Nadege. I'm a sex scholar, and you could find me at pleasurescience.com, at Pleasure Science on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. We have a lot of fun on YouTube. Come hang out with me over there. We have the Pleasure Science podcast.
Yay.
And then one thing I'm actually really proud of right now is all the research I've been doing on flirting. So every single person has their own flirting superpower. Most people think that they can't flirt because they don't know their flirt style. So I created a quiz. It's 3 questions. It'll take you 1 minute, and you'll discover your flirt style, which will tell you who to be connecting with and where to be connecting with people, because your flirt style will determine what social settings are right for you.
Yeah.
So go to pleasurescience.com.
That's such a good quiz, you guys. You should take that.
Pleasurescience.com/flirt. That's where you'll find it. Just make sure to put the /flirt. But pleasurescience.com/flirt, and you'll discover that. I'm
obsessed. Okay. I think I want to take that because I kind of want to know what my flirting style is. Okay. Well, you guys, follow me, Stefanie Maegan, or go to brocotherapy.com. All that shit is there. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.
Aww.
You killed that one.
You killed that one.
Well, thank you.
That was so good. Growth therapy.